Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to install CMake and use CMake. So we're going to be starting off with 3 files, and then I'm going to be showing you how to organize them using CMake to create a system such as this. So here are the files side by side, the 2 projects. I'm going to be showing you the code right now. The code's the same for all of them, the organization is just different. So we have the CPP, we have the header, then we have the main CPP. This hello world example code just prints hello world, and then it uses the function to export the value as well. I'm going to run the terminal and show you that this project works. Alright, we have the executable. Now we're going to run that. There we go. Hello world value 3. Now I'm just going to show you how to install CMake, and we're going to create a system that organizes all these files. But first, I'm going to show you the CMake final project to show you that the code within those files are the same, and I'll demonstrate how we're going to be setting this up. So this build folder, we don't have to worry about that. That's going to be handled by CMake itself. This bin folder, we're going to have it to where CMake exports the final executable in the bin folder. So there it is, official.exe. We're going to create the source file, we're going to create the library file, we're going to create this include file. Basically, we're going to put our main CPP in the source file. We'll have the include store our header file, and the library itself store our CPP files. I'm going to show you the files right now. We have the main CPP, add CPP, add header. Now I'm going to briefly go over the CMake list files, but I'm not going to explain anything because we're not at that point yet. Just showing you what it looks like. Here's the main, it's at the root, and then this one's in the source, this one's in the library. And I guess since we're already here, I'm going to delete the build folder, I'm going to delete the official exe, and then I'm going to run the CMake and then build the executable again, just to show you that this works. So if you look down, I have the command terminal open. I'm going to remove the build folder. Alright, it's gone now. Now I'm going to manually delete the official exe. Alright, now we're going to do a fresh build, and then we're going to create the executable. So first, let's do the build. I'm going to use mingw as the generator. It's going to create the build folder. Alright. We have not created our exe yet, so I'm going to go into the build folder right now. Now I'm going to run the make. And there we go. I'm going to leave the make, go into the bin, run the code. It works. So now I'm going to show you all the stuff that we need to know now that you know what to expect. So let's go over to the official CMake website and download CMake. I'm going to Google search CMake. CMake.org is the official website. I'm going to click on download. We're not going to be downloading the source, we're going to be downloading the binary distributions. So I have a Windows PC, I'm going to download this, and that's going to install it directly onto my PC. We're going to find the location of that. So once we installed it, I'm going to show you how to find the location of your CMake thing. We're going to click on right click, more, open file location. And then after that, we're going to right click the CMake GUI, properties, and then this is going to give us the destination of where this is saved. I'm going to highlight everything except for the exe part. Now we're going to add this to our actual Windows PC, so then we can use the command line. So then we can do this, CMake. So to add it to our PC, go to this PC, right click, go to properties, open this up, advanced system settings, environment variables. Down here in paths, look for paths as a variable name, double click that, click new, add this in, I already have it in, and make sure it's the bin folder. If I go into that location, here's where the CMake is at. That's what the command line is going to be running. Alright, then after you saved it, click on OK, click OK here, and then it should be saved onto your PC, and you should be able to run CMake on your command line, and it'll be properly installed onto your PC. Now I'm going to show you how to use CMake. Alright, now that we have CMake properly installed into our PC, I'm going to show you how to make CMake scripts. Basically, every CMake script, you have to create a text document and name it CMake lists. Specifically that name, and it has to be a text file. Alright, so now I'm going to show you the basics to every CMake script. Three basic commands. First command, minimum required. We'll put in the version, and to see the version that we have, up here at 3.28.0. So that's what I'm going to put in here. I'll describe the commands later on. I'm just showing you the three basic commands every project needs when using CMake. So CMake minimum required, then we have project. So we'll just call this hello world. If we decide to have a space between hello world, we'll have to use double quotations. But we'll just call this hello world. CMake minimum required, project, and then the third command is add executable, the project name, which is hello world, and then main CPP. We're going to attach these to the executable, so main CPP and add CPP. We basically made our first CMake script. I'm going to run this in the command line to show that it works. Command line, CMake, we're building, create the build folder. I want to specifically use the min.gw generator. I made the build folder. So now that we have our build folder created, I have to do one edit within my main CPP. Rather than using the add CPP directly, we can now just include the add H, because we'll have CMake handle the combining of the CPP files. Go into the build folder, ngw32 make. And that created our executable, which is right here. We're going to go dot hello world. There we go. That's the basic CMake script. These three commands are all you need, but we're going to go into a more advanced way of doing things. But I'm going to be showing you more commands, so then you can go beyond just these three commands. So before I show you the other commands, I'm going to be explaining the current commands that we have. So CMake minimum required, and make sure that the CMake that you're using is not outdated. So anything below 3.28, it's going to run an error. The project, this is what determines the name of the output executable. So hello world was the executable we got. If we go into the build, hello world was the name of the executable. So that determines the name of the executable. Add executable. So this actually links things. So this is the executable, like we already said, and it links the main CPP and the add into the hello world executable. So those are the three basic commands, and that's a description of them. Now we're going to go into more advanced commands. I'm not going to go over all the commands, but I'm just going to go through the fundamental ones. So the next command we're going to use, this one's very good for debugging. It's called message. Basically, I'm going to put in whatever I want. What it's going to do is it's going to show this message within the CMake. So I'm going to open up the command line. I'm going to delete the build folder. Remove directory. Build. Alright, so now we're going to run it again. Folder. Use the generator. ngw make files. So as you can see right here, this command, the message command, is very good for debugging. Plus it lets you see where you're at when it's running. So we could put one here, 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 like that. Alright, run this again, and there we go. It lets us keep track of where the code's at and what's going on. So that's the first command, message. The next command is going to be helping us with organizing our folders. First, I'm going to delete a build folder. Let's create a folder for the library, one for storing the source code, then an include for our headers. We'll put this header file in our include. We'll put this CPP in the library, put the include in the library, CPP in the source file. So this new command, add subdirectory, it's a command that searches for CMake scripts. So in here, we put in a folder name. So source, it starts from the root where this CMake starts. That's a root destination. So we're going to go into source. We'll create another subdirectory and we'll go into the library. And when we type subdirectory, it's basically searching for a CMake script within this folder. CMake script in the library folder as well. If we wanted to go into the include folder as well, we could do CMake inc. But for this example, we're just going to create our scripts in the source and in the library. I'll just copy this. And this is going to be our main CMake script. And the reason why I say that is because, so this is the main CMake script, and since it's the main one, these other ones in the subdirectory, they do not need the CMake minimum or the project or the add executable. Alright, the source, delete that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to track where the CMake is in these full of save message. So here's what we got. The root CMake script, it's going to print this, and then for the source, it's going to print source CMake script, and then the library CMake script. But before we run this, we're going to add some more code. So if we open up our main CPP, the header file should be in the same location. If we wanted this to work, we'd have to do ... to go back a directory from the source to the library, go to the library, and then go to the include. This is how we would get this to work. But using CMake, we can leave it like this and add in some more code into our CMake script. So in the root CMake script, there's actually a command to specifically search for header files, and that command is include directories. So we just put in a folder name that locates our library for the headers. So we're going to the library, then include, and that's where we're going to find our header file. So that's what's going to allow to be left alone, because CMake will handle the part where it locates the header files, and we won't have to put in a specific location into this. The next command that we're going to learn, it's called add library. You're probably wondering why we need a library. What a library does is, rather than type, let's say we had another CPP file, so CPP, what a library does is it can contain multiple CPP files under one name. So that's what we're going to do. To the source CMake, we're going to do add library. We're going to name our library. We're going to call it add, and then we're going to type in the source file that it's going to contain. So add.cpp. And since this CMake is the same location as our add CPP, we just type that in. If we want to create an add library in the root, it'd be name the library, it'd be lib.cpp. That's how it would make a library from the root. But we're going to make it into the source over here, and that's how you make a library. And like I said again, libraries are able to contain multiple source files under one name. So we just made a library called add, and it contains the source for add.cpp. Alright, so we had it like this originally, but now instead of doing that, we can put main.cpp and attach the library. And since this is not in the root anymore, we're going to move this code to the library CMake. Save that. Alright, the executable in the source, that's what we have right now. And then there's another command we're going to learn. This command is called target link libraries. And that's where I made a mistake. So when we add the executable, it only works with CPP or source files, not libraries. So I have to remove that. So with target link libraries, new terminology when it comes to CMake scripts. Targets, when we speak about targets, they're either two things, a library or an executable. So we create a library called add. So when it comes to the target, we can use a library or an executable. And we want to link this to the executable. We want to link this add library to the hello world executable. And right there, we're 90% complete. But just to make sure this code works, let's open the terminal and run the code. So I'm currently in the root. I'm going to do CMake build. Name of the folder is going to be build. Use a generator, which is main GW make files. Run that. And as you can see, it shows the messages, lib CMake script, source CMake script. It shows you the order that it takes the scripts. Root, lib, source. Now we're gonna build folder, GW32 make. There we go. Check the directory. Our executable will be located in the source direct. There it is, hello world. Hello world. There we go. It works. Last but not least, rather than having the executable be put into the source file, we're going to create another file in the root called bin, and to have it be saved in there, there's a new thing called variables. So before I show you how variables work, I'm gonna demonstrate how they look like. So we're gonna go into our build folder. Every time you build, there's going to be a file called CMake cache. And we're gonna open that up. Here's an example of what variables look like. So here's the variable name. By convention, they're always capital, and if there's any spaces, they use underscore. And here's the type of the variable. It's a file path. This one's a file path, this one's a string, and the thing above them, those are comments. Let's make a variable right now. The command to create a variable or change a variable that already exists, the command is set. So how the command works is we put in the name of the command. I'm going to call this Broughtvulture. Then we put in the value that we want to set it to. Subscribe. Now let's say we want to make sure our variable is the value that we set it to. To use a variable, here's how it looks like. So if I want to show the variable in the message, we're going to put $, curly brackets, and then the name of the variable. We're going to save that. Now I'm going to run the command again to build. And as you see right here, it showed the value that we set our variable to. Now that I've shown you how to use variables, the final part is we want to save the executable into this bin folder. And to do that, we have to actually change a specific variable name, which is called CMake runtime output directory. We got to change that value to bin, since it's another root, or we can use project source directory, which is going to point to the root of the project. Since this is where it declares the project, this is the root. I'm going to save this. I'm going to rebuild, and now go to the build and GW32 make, and there we go. Finally, our executable is now created in the bin. One last variable thing that is very cool is, let's say you want to use an environment variable within your CMake project. Similar to a regular variable, to use an environment variable, you have to put $, capital ENV, standing for environment, then the curly braces, then you type in the variable name on your PC, and that's how you use it.